Thank you for coming to the Lisle Township September 14th meeting. We call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Clerk Polowitz, I see on the Zoom, and would to do a roll call?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. A little afraid of that. Okay, Trustee Geist?
She said here.
Uh-oh, this is gonna be trouble. Trustee McGovern?
Here.
Trustee Page?
Here.
Trustee Rose?
Here.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Here.
Assessor Trowbridge?
Here.
Highway Commissioner Young?
Here.
Okay, and if I could ask if everyone can, who's in the audience to sign in, if there is anybody there, I would appreciate that. And then there are several people who are online.
And I'm just going to read the people's names that are here in the audience just to make it easier for you, Clerk Polowitz. So it's former Supervisor Mary Jo Mullen, and it's our accountant CPA Scott Dunzer, and then of course Bill White, Bill Green, who's in the audience right here, as
Okay.
well as.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And on Zoom, I can see we also have Attorney Heather Becker, Kim White, and Joanne Lazarski as well in virtual attendance. Sure, sorry. Okay. Okay, we're ready to go then. We're gonna go with the public comments, which is next on the agenda. So the question is, all right, let me make sure that we have that properly. And so we have the settings here for the responses for the September 14th meeting with 0 responses. Okay, then we'll have.
I have a quick question. Is this a legal meeting? The notice on the calendar wasn't on the website until way past the
So
statutory requirement.
Clerk Polowitz, do you want to take over that conversation?
Sure. I posted it on Monday morning about, I'm forgetting, like 9 o'clock on the board. I think subsequently there were changes to the agenda, and Diane, Supervisor Hewitt, I apologize. You switched it out at 11 o'clock in the cabinet, and then you also put it on the website. However, it's not on the calendar and it's not on the front page. So unfortunately, you have to dig into the documents area to be able to find it.
It's on 2 different spots, but we're working out with the new website. One of the things we're working out is figuring out how that we can best advertise things. So thank you, Highway Commissioner Young. This calendar is now linked to a Google account, and we're trying to expand that linkage so that more.
Until after 9 o'clock today.
So actually, but what Clerk Polowitz is saying is that she posted it right here on this part of the website. And then I posted it on Sunday, and the documents page.
The documents, you had to go to.
So there's 2
no notice on
places.
the front page.
There's 2 places where it was posted, was in the board meetings documents.
Yeah.
Under September 14th.
There's a
And the second place was under news, which is where we've been posting them under the news section.
When was the news section?
But this was Clerk Polowitz, and I both posted this Monday morning. So more than 48 hours notice was given. Okay, back to the agenda. What we do have is Becky Schreier is one of our HR people that is going to be helping us with from Connor and Gal.
For public comment in the meeting.
Sorry, didn't mean to, I'm not used to this
Having
lovely,
people actually in the room, yeah, I get it.
thank you Supervisor Mullen. So can we have public comment for the people in the audience, either online and in person, but we'll start with the in-person Supervisor
I do
Mullen.
have something. So just over a year ago, on my way out to my last meeting, Bill Green was really lovely and arranged kind of a send-off for a lot of us who are attending our last meeting. I'm here tonight. My understanding is it's Bill's last meeting for Lisle Township. And I wanted to thank you for everything you've done, Bill. That you've worked tirelessly for our residents. I've always admired and appreciated how you work one-on-one with our residents and give them the time and attention they need to really determine where they're going. If they need the pantry, if they need Laura's assistance program, if they needed to go towards the jobs program, if they just needed a passport, you were there to always help them, direct them, and get them what they needed. And I think the residents will miss you very much. Personally, in my short 4 years, we went through a lot together too. And I also very much appreciated that when I was having a really hard time, when I was losing my mom, you were always there to check on me. You were always there to make sure I was okay. And personally, I appreciate that more than the positive side. So on behalf of myself, past supervisors, I know some of them don't really talk on their but anybody, and our residents, thank you for your service here in Lisle Township. I want to see.
Yeah, I will echo that challenge as well. Bill, you've been one of the most dedicated people that I've ever. The dedication to the service. Your service is above and beyond called in your service to the participants and constituency is second to me. And I appreciate all the assistance you gave me. Thank you so much.
I got you. Appreciate everything you've done. Thank you. And Bill, one of the things that is most admirable, no matter what happened, what scenario was being presented, you were always looking at things in a positive way and keeping positive spin on everything that was going on in the township. And for that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll just echo in the short time that I've known you, did nothing but the utmost professional. I think that your departure is not just a loss for the township offices, but to the constituents, which we have been elected and entrusted to serve. I recognize that I'm the only trustee who wanted to honor your request to have a meeting. I recognize that we were not at liberty to make any decisions about anything that would happen from an HR or a compensatory perspective. But I do feel strongly that you did have the right to request the audience with the trustees for the handbook, regardless of what you wanted to say. And I'm disappointed that you didn't get to have that opportunity with us. And, you know, I still would love to have that opportunity. Like I said, we don't have any choice. That's Supervisor Hewitt's decision to make when it comes to compensation and HR issues, but we owed you as a longtime employee and the community for which we serve and that we've been entrusted to serve, just to hear what it was that you had to say. And I think it's unfortunate that we didn't give you that opportunity. So I apologize that, you know, I wasn't able to help press that forward for you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say too, that I appreciate all that you've done from the time that you helped us trustees kind of figure out what we were doing, helping with the budget, taking our arranging tours to go see different townships for us. I really appreciate that. And I'm really sorry to see you leaving because I think you are an asset to the township from watching you talk to the seniors that come in and taking a lot of time with them to answer their questions and just chat, which a lot of seniors need, to working on passports and just knowing all the things that go on in the township. So I'm really sorry to see you leave, and I wish you the best of luck in your next.
Everything Lisa said.
Yeah.
Everything. Thank you for helping us in the beginning. Thank you for showing us the ropes. Thank you for helping me in the office when I would come in. We're gonna miss you.
For sure.
I'm sorry that that gratitude can't be expressed immediately in the audience that you requested.
I appreciate everything you said, and I actually will speak, one thing that has happened today, that nobody else would know yet, or I can tell you, his brother-in-law passed away, just within like the last hour or so, and a prayer, apparently, I don't know if he was sick or not, but they were a prayer for her and her family. As far as what we've just discussed, I'm still under the impression that 2 trustees could actually ask or request a meeting, and 3 trustees could actually set my compensation. I believe that is the case, and that is straight from my attorney, who I thought was going to be here, but she's not. If that was the case, what I had asked for was very simple, is to determine when our raises or our review should have been held, and that is when our raises should have went into effect. Not only mine, but the other people that are ultimately voicing the same opinion, but not either brave enough or strong enough to sit here or stand here and discuss this with you. If our anniversary date is the date, which as a finance person, I would probably agree, that really isn't a good date to use, because then you've got 10 different people with 10 different dates. But that would be January 3rd. If we use the end of the fiscal year to determine that, then everybody that works here would have the same review date. And that would have been April 1st. You also would know how much you have in the budget. You know what the situations, which should be the obvious day. That was not done. We did have chance to have a review. I agree with some of it. I wouldn't agree with all of it. One of the employees, their review was cut short and never did finish. She's not happy with that. So there's still more coming your way from other employees. I just want you to know that. And I have this opportunity to just ask you again, if your attorney is telling you that you cannot do this according to the utmost expert in the field, you can. And what I've asked for is just simply to pay me the differential from when I would have gotten my raise from April 1, or heck, all the way back to the not some huge amount, but just the differential. Had we gotten raises and reviews on April 1, then that would have been the time. If we go back further to our actual anniversary date, that would go all the way back to January 3rd for me. Another person had, a review that was done 6 weeks after that. That employee asked several times to have her review. So the 4 of us here, and to treat the 4 of us like that, it's irresponsible.
So we're going into, I would say, executive committee issues, and so executive session issues in public comment, which is definitely not proper. So we will definitely put some things in executive session.
Well, I have a question. Am I in a position to make a motion to honor the meeting request by Bill Green? And take a vote?
Attorney Mullen and Attorney Becker, we have some legal questions coming up that we've been discussing for some time. Trustee Geist, would you like to repeat that question?
I don't know what we can and can't do, so I was just asking, am I in a position to make a motion to take it to vote whether we hold this special meeting as requested?
So the answer to that is no. In order to do a special meeting, the trustees, the required number of trustees have to give notice to the clerk that they are interested in having a special meeting and when they want to have it. the time, the place, and you have to go through a process that's set forth in the statute in order to hold the special meeting. That would not be something that you can do as a motion in the meeting. Now, we have put on the agenda executive session to talk about HR issues. If you want to vote to go into executive session when we hit that agenda piece, and then you can discuss that issue in executive session for as long as you'd like, and I will join that executive session, and you can make whatever motions and have whatever conversations you want to have in executive session, but a special meeting is not something that you can make a motion for during a board meeting. It's something that you have a statutory process for calling a special meeting.
I know the process. Thank you for that explanation. I'm aware of the process. What I was asking is, can I make a motion to take it to vote? To have the
No.
meeting?
No, you cannot do that at the meeting. No. It has to go through the clerk at a separate time.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Attorney Mullen. Okay, then we'll go through our HR update from a few different sources here. And let me share my screen. The update, first, I want to congratulate Mr. Bill Green for 11 years of wonderful years of service with Lisle Township. We'll be having a lunch on Tuesday, September 20th to say thank you. Lisle Township has started some significant internal reorganizing in the process of bringing our human resource policies and infrastructure up to date with current good government best practices, with the idea of improving our services for the people of Lisle Township. Now we are ready to hire. In the past year, we have toured some of the neighboring townships in the area and realized that many townships have administrators or operations managers. We have seen the need to replace our Director of Youth and Family Services, Coordinator of Senior Services and Transportation, caseworker and executive assistant, and a part-time receptionist. In April 2022, we passed our employee handbook and created goals with the employees. This past month, we went through reviews, getting people on an anniversary time frame or annual review. By working together with our employees, Becky from Connor and Gallagher and myself, together we created job descriptions and goals. We will add them to our website as soon as we can. Becky is focused on recruiting and will update us on her input. Becky?
Yes, hi, thank you. So as Diane mentioned, I am from Connor and Gallagher OneSource. I engaged with Diane a few months ago, and we started the process for reviewing the job description. So from there, she had asked me to then assist her in providing a resource for recruiting. So typically, our process is as follows. We start with reviewing the job requirements, duties, qualifications, compensation, and then from there, as Diane mentioned, we created job descriptions, reviewed those, updated those, and then I created a job ad. That job ad was then posted on Indeed as well as on the township website. From there, we are collecting resumes. I will review and analyze those resumes against the job ad and the qualifications that are set forth. From there, I'll work with Diane to select candidates to begin to move through the process for all of these positions. My role then from that point would be to contact candidates, coordinate initial screenings, for me to have a conversation with them. Based on my conversation, I'll create a candidate summary. I'll send that to Diane. And then if Diane would like to move forward with those candidates, then I will coordinate any face-to-face interviews that she wants. Beyond that, I can also assist in helping her develop offer letters if those aren't already in place, and then conducting background screenings if that's not already a process that's in place as well.
Thank you, Becky. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Becky, are you responsible for hiring the our new temp?
I'm sorry, the new temp?
No, I am.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure. if
Yeah.
that was- Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, trustee Page.
Are there many applications coming in right now? Like, do we have a number for all? Because when I was on the website, there were 6 separate jobs
Yes. Yep.
advertised.
Yes. So we do have several candidates currently in the pipeline. So we have candidates that I've reached out to already to begin the screening process, and others I'm still reviewing as they come in.
Thank you.
About how many resumes are we receiving, I think is what, like numbers wise, are we
Oh,
a healthy response, or how would you gauge the response?
I would say the response for the receptionist and the executive assistant have been a bit higher. So I would say probably the receptionist role, I think there were 60 or 70 resumes that we've received so far. For the executive assistant, it was under 50. And then for the more specialized roles, we're probably under, in each of them, right around 25 or less resumes so far. And then at this point, I think there's been an email address created on the website that will, anybody who does apply, they can apply to that, send their resume to that email address, and it will come directly to me. So if Indeed is not, the way they want to go through the process, they can do it through the website if that's how they've learned about the position.
Any other questions?
I'm just curious, Becky, I know we're outsourcing HR, where do you live? Are you
local?
you're with
so-
Lisle Township?
No, actually, I lived in Naperville until about a month and a half ago, and we just moved to Ohio.
Thank you.
Connor and Gallagher, just a reminder,
Yes.
has the organization that we've been having our insurance through for some time. Any other questions? Thank you very much for your help, Becky,
Thank you.
and your service with our township. Okay, then Pat from Studio GC has a health issue which has prevented him from coming. But we'll be getting a presentation next month from Studio GC as to where we are at with our building plans and what have you not. There's a presentation that we have from Kim White with expanding our partnership with the Career Networking Center. So I'll let Kim take it from here.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you all on the call. Excuse me. I explained to Diane I had an event that I had to attend this evening, and so I don't have a formal presentation, but I'm here for any questions that you may have after I give some brief remarks. Diana reached out to me regarding the services that the Career Networking Center has been offering in our local community and DuPage County for the past 26 years. And that is services around, services around job search. I apologize. I'm trying to stay in the light and there's people coming in and out, so I apologize. So the services that we offer at the Career Networking Center helps individuals that are in job search. We provide services around resume writing, job search strategy, networking, mock interviewing, and we partner with a number of different organizations within the local area to provide job search services to those other organizations. Diane had mentioned that Lisle Township may be interested in helping to partnering with us so that we can provide services to those in the Lisle Township area that may be in need of job search services. We've also expanded our services to not just include those job search services, but we also do some training. We do training around soft skills. So one of the things that we have obviously, especially during the past couple of years, is recognized the importance of when someone lands a job, we want to make sure that they can also keep the job. So we focus a lot on those soft skills, customer service, how to get along with your teammates and things in that arena. So We have a wide array of services, and we would love the opportunity to continue our partnership and relationship with Lisle Township moving forward. We do have a similar partnership with Naperville Township and other nonprofit agencies that I know benefit residents in the Lisle Township area as well. So I am open for any questions, if there's any specific questions around the services that we offer or how this partnership might work.
A question, would it be free services? Would it be discounted services? Like, what's the partnership, like, what does that entail exactly?
So it's my understanding, and I don't know, Diane, if you want to elaborate on, that part of the conversation. But typically if clients come to us from a partner agency or a township, there's a discounted service to those clients. So our services are $100 a year. So we're already pretty low, if you will, for individuals that are in need of our services. If they were to go to a for-profit agency or even another nonprofit agency, there's other agencies that do what we do. There's one in the city and there's one on the North Shore. And I know one of them charged $400 a quarter. And the other one, I'm not quite sure what their pricing was changing, but we are $100 a year for a wide array of services. They can see as many of the coaches as they want and have as many appointments as they want over the course of that year. So that discounted rate would be something that we would talk with you all about to come up with that, with what that rate is.
Thank you.
And I was a member of the Career Networking Center. Happy to have gotten a lot of some services when I was in job search mode, and I realized what a wonderful resource they are for our Lisle Township community. So I just wanted to figure out as we look forward with the service needs, we did realize that the job search mode is a very special niche that needs to be addressed, and the Career Community Network Center has a fabulous way of addressing it. I just want to also point out their website, which is a wonderful resource that also has a newsletter and a lot of fabulous ways to access their calendar and their events. So a really wonderful resource that we can partner with. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, and I would just add one more thing. We are the only nonprofit agency in the western suburbs that specifically focus on job search. And so, again, we've been doing this for 26 plus years. I'm with the organization for 17 years. It's kind of hard to imagine I've been there that long, but I love the work that we do and love working with our clients and assisting any and everyone in job search. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kim. And thank you for your help and work with us. Okay, then next we have the presentation of the 21-22 draft audit. And frankly, I didn't know we were going to actually get the audit yesterday. So we're planning to vote on this next month, but we couldn't vote on it this month because I didn't know we were getting it. So you had the draft, and now we have Scott to discuss.
Yeah, and I was able to, I got to push it. This is the final report that you have in front of you. I got it through our internal quality control, and you guys, quick as I get, as I could. So hopefully everybody had a chance to take a peek at it. So, and stop me at any time if you have any questions, so you don't forget it. Whatever. So in addition to the audit, you also should have got the required communication letter. So to go off to all people with charge of government, there's a separate. So, and we also, what we don't have here, what we don't see is the annual financial report that we filed with the Illinois Comptroller's Office. That's a regulatory filing. There's a regulatory agency, so we submitted that. I believe I submitted that yesterday, so all the regulatory filings should be taken care of moving forward. The format of the report is again the same as the prior years. There's no change in cash basis financial statement or modified cash basis financial statements, and they lack, so they lack any rule entries like accounts payable, accounts receivable, and they also lack capital assets in the government-wide statements, so like the building, vehicles, and that kind of stuff. That's not being tracked. That's not uncommon for townships or size to report that way, but I want to be clear. Somebody might notice, if you're astute and remember last year, the one change that we did have is there's a new independent auditor's report, our opinion. Starting on page 1 to 3, that's our opinion on the presentation of financial statements. This was based on the government auditing standards. This was updated. There's a little more in-depth detail, especially in the auditor's responsibilities section. It talks a little bit about what our responsibilities are as financial statements, sort of what we do, responsibility for internal control. So I encourage you to read through that because that's what that's what we do. That's our opinion that you pay us to give you. This is a modified opinion, again, because of the cash nature of the financial statement, cash basis, but it's an acceptable opinion for the regulatory agency, which is the comptroller, government comptroller's office. Any questions on that?
So what would you say is our the amount of money that we have in our reserves on budget?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. I was gonna look forward to go over little highlights of the financial statements. And this is as of March 31, the year end 2022. It a little over $10 million of cash in the bank, and that's on revenues. And this is across all governmental funds. About 10 million, and we had about 4.8 million in expenditures the past year. So we only got 2 years of expenditures, 2 years of cash in the bank, which is a really very solid financial position for the township. Those kind of reserves.
So is there a problem when we get to 2.5 times?
There potentially could be, when you get this high, you're always subject to objections because governments are not supposed to accumulate money from taxpayers. They're sort of designed as pay as you go. If you need money for capital projects, you usually issue debt instead of building up big reserves over the years and then spending it down. The reason is you want the tax dollars that are collected to benefit the people currently, rather than build them up and then spend it later when there could be somebody to pay for them, who got it down and then you can figure the benefit. So that's sort of the idea, I think. So that's why, and the attorneys can give you the exact amounts and how they figure it out because they fight with the people that file. But that's the idea, is you don't want to carry excess reserves too high. And when you get to 2.5 times, it's really the big point that'll give you some objections.
So we happen to have Supervisor Mullen in the room, who previously dealt with some of those historical objections. So what are your thoughts at that issue?
So we settled a series of tax objections my first year that I believe it was closing in on $2 million that we were being sued for, and we settled around 700. That's around the rate where I recall. That's not about right. We put in place policies about reserves at that time around planned capital projects that have public support. So we could put aside reserves in one specific line item for capital projects when we were evaluating what we're going to do at that site, and since we did not have public support. we didn't move forward with it. And then from that point on, we kept our levy very straight, so that we would spend down on reserves rather than accumulate.
Thank you. Supervisor Mellon.
And to go along, and I've worked with other townships in the area that have similarly built buildings in the past several years. There's something to say that we can potentially set up a capital project fund, transfer money and do it, to build a building. I think that's a good idea, rather than running it out of the expenditures out of a regular governmental fund. The reason why I think that's a good idea is that historically, you can look back at your town fund, for example, and that would show the operating expenditures, and you can look. If you don't use a capital projects fund for capital things, those would go into a fund and it'll have a big spike one year, and then, it would look a little goofy. So I like it when people, or I think it's a little easier to digest and see, especially budget, if you set up a capital projects fund, and that can be funded. That's not funded by a levy. It would be funded by either debt proceeds or transfers from the fund. Operating.
So the normal operating transfer would likely be from the town fund.
Correct, but it could come from any fund.
So would you say that we have a healthy 2,200,000 that could be transferred?
I think you have from the ed fund. Or from, I'm sorry, from the general town fund,
Yes, sir.
you would have over about $4.2 million in there as of March. And your annual expenditures last year, this is only 1 year, were 2.1 million. So you're basically at 2 times in there. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you run that real low. Obviously, that you should have a minimum fund balance or a minimum days on cash on hand policy, because you don't want to run out.
What would you say is that amount that we should target?
That you can potentially transfer.
Right.
Use. I think easily half of that fund balance, you'd still have a year in reserves in the bank, and you'd be fine. And it also depends on what other projects that you consider that you're going to embark on in the future too. I know, I think I talked a little about you had plans to do some other stuff. And then just having some fund balance in there allows you to opportunities to expand, potentially expand.
Any questions?
We got one on page 10, last paragraph.
Okay, yep, I'm there.
Read the last third.
The total operating expenses,
Total operating for the period ended overall, the township decreased delivery of desired assisted level of quality improvement. Did we decrease service?
I don't think so.
Isn't that what that says?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question about
It
that
might,
too.
it
That
might
came up.
have, yeah.
So
That might have been was that a carryover from like the prior year was that written in there when?
For COVID or
Yeah.
something?
That's what I'm thinking.
and that sounds very much like I happen to have the last year's books, so we can go through that after the meeting. But that does look like that was.
I think that was one, because that's when the expenditures. For a couple years, I believe they dropped.
So is this a typo? Is this just,
Yeah, and I can update that.
Please.
this is just a draft, right?
Yeah. And we issued this final, but we can update this section. This is the management discussion and analysis part, and I think I sent you a draft, and so check this out, look at this. This is a different, it's because of the management portion of the thing. This is not part of our basic financial statements. The way I help you guys, I'm gonna put this together. I drop in all the numbers in here, just so it's easier. But it's really, you're coming from the office of Lisle Township's written out statements. If that makes sense.
Well, it does, but I don't think anybody here vote.
Yeah. But what I do is I provide a draft, yeah,
So-
it's a template. This is basically a template. There's parts in here that have to be written in here
I understand,
and all that have to.
but if you read it, it just doesn't read.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. And I did provide a copy of the draft, but we can update it for sure.
Thank you.
I can do that. If you, and I can reach out to you and we can change that. We can update that wording
Thank you, Scott.
and, that wouldn't affect any of the, obviously, any of the financial statements. And, hold it.
What you gotta do, it's not my authorship. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and this was a thing, the management discussion, I was supposed to give it's supposed to give, a highlights of what happened during the year. Like I said, it's a lot of, because it needs to follow a certain format. I sort of dropped the numbers in based on the template here and provided to you. If there's any changes you want to make that, I'm happy. It's sort of it's not directly part of what we're signing on. Then it's sort of the financial statement. We just have to read that to make sure that the stuff agrees with the financial statement. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Sort of agree.
Yeah, and I had it about a month and a half ago, we were talking about some of this and just an off the cuff. And I had pointed out, we had 1.5 million basically in unallocated funds that I could just get off the top of my head that we were good with. So that doesn't necessarily surprise me that there's more, but I mean, what I can go in and talking to Supervisor Hewitt, I had to give her, a fast number that we were sure of. So,
Yeah. And remember when we're looking at this is as of March 31st. These balances we're discussing here. You have to remember, your property taxes don't come in equally every, 12 months. So you can go up and down.
two big payments.
Right.
Two little ones.
Yeah, so you gotta do that. March, I don't think it really reflects your first installment.
Yeah.
So you
No,
got a
we
big,
just got, and we've only got one big installment.
you would have got a bunch of, like April and May, you probably had a big increase there, and then you spent down, so you got more in August or September, right? So,
Well, you would know that one, yes.
but that's probably good, because it's not right, sort of in the middle of the, so you're probably not at the bottom, not at the top. In a March year, and most of the stuff, you're really high at June. I think the end of June is probably your high point in cash on hand, I would think.
We're a little slow on the second payment. In fact, I think on there, it's only, we're at like 50, on the income side, I think we're only at 57% or something like that. I think there's still a good chunk to come.
And Scott and I have been, as you've seen in the last month, we're working on different spreadsheets to make it more user friendly. So that you don't have to have a CPA to really see and understand what we're trying to convey from a financial perspective. And so Scott was saying that basically Quicken isn't really meant for government accounting. And it'd be really great if they did in a government accounting program. But essentially, one of the things we're trying to do is figure out a way that it would automatically be downloaded and transfer information from Quicken to an Excel spreadsheet that would then populate and give us some financial reporting that would be more commensurate to what we're used to seeing in the private sector. That would allow us to show income differently, and not differently, more accurately, in spending in a way that's gives us a bigger picture. So we're still working on that.
Yeah, the issue with QuickBooks is really designed for like a small business. And that has like one financial statement. Governments have multiple funds. So there's no way in QuickBooks to set up like multiple separate funds, because that's where you budget, that's where you levy, so that's the way you should see it. You can sort of make it work by putting potentially different account numbers, 10s, 20s, 30s for the different funds, or even classes. That works with revenues and expenditures on the income statement side, but you can't really get a balance sheet. You know, if the balance sheet is combined, it's one set enough. So unless you do a manual manipulation, it's sort of hard to see what you got in each fund every month unless you pull it out and figure it out and get the one last year. So that's the limitations of it. It's not really, the good thing is it's relatively expensive compared to government fund financial software system, but it does have limitations on it. And I talked to the supervisor about some things, and she's put some reports together, but it would be nice to pull something out of there if you're going to continue using the system. But potentially pull reports out of there, and because you can export them into Excel and report in there and have it sort of populate a form. So there's no manual entry or anything like that. And you just have to do that this week if you want to see something. There is a way to put monthly budget numbers in there if you want to. I don't know if you guys did that or not. You can actually slice and dice up the revenue budgets or the expenditure budgets by month in there, have it turn out. I don't know if you've seen the function.
Not yet.
Functionalities. But I know that was one of your questions, if you had your budget, you know, and that's something you could do it and on the revenue side, so you can put, you know, the budget of revenue coming in, you know, May and June, and then most of it is, you know, whatever month you want. You can, or take the expenditures and divide them by 12, or put them in when you think you're gonna come. So there is functionality there. I think that was one of the things.
You did it, but
Yeah,
doesn't-
by 45.
we specifically have made it so we don't want that to happen.
But in the balance sheet, there's nothing under it.
Yeah, but you don't really know unless you, because, yeah, you have.
I mean, you got cash, what else you got?
That's it, but
How do we need?
It's cash based.
Right.
yeah, but so when you look at the report that comes out of there, you don't know, because you'll see net income in each fund, but how do you allocate the cash? You have to take last month's cash balances, do the net income, figure out and calculate out the new one by fund. Because you're only gonna have cash for, you can't put the balance sheet accounts in classes. That's the limitation. And I don't know why, I don't know why QuickBooks does not offer a government version that could do it. Some people have tried to set up different companies as funds, but that's sort of a pain, because then you always got to switch to companies, and then if you have bills that bill that pays, that's split between two funds, and you gotta, you know, you're always jumping around, so that's sort of cumbersome way to do it. So those are some of the limitations. There are a couple townships in DuPage County that have just in the past 2 years have just implemented the new software, like a governmental fund software, into one of your neighbors, and one's a little bit north of here, that have this sort of living together, sort of living together, so that they implement. I can give you that information offline. If you're thinking about that, I'm not sure what the cost was. I'm not sure, like, they were in a long time old system that just failed on something different. So QuickBooks does work. The good part about it is that it's a system that a lot of people know, because it's so widely known. So people like, oh, bookkeeping for small businesses or whatever. So, you know, there's a lot of candidates out there that have knowledge of it and they can use it. It's fairly simple to learn. which is different than if you have a system that's sort of designed for government accounting. It's probably more of a learning curve from somebody that just, rather than having someone step in. So, there's pluses and minuses, I guess, for both ways. So you just have to, you just have to weigh them all, moving forward. You've been on QuickBooks for, I don't know, it's been a long time. Hasn't it? I don't know, 114, so it's been 8 years. But it's a little, when we put it into our system, we got to sort of figure out how to allocate the cash every year. So I don't know how you get, you know exactly how much you have in your account fund right now. Can you figure? Or like you sort of do a manual sort of thing, and that's all I'm saying. It doesn't produce like a trial balance type fund.
But QuickBooks isn't, just doesn't sound like it's the best solution.
Well, it seems pretty simple. Yeah, it gets you. Yeah, it's simple to use, and there's a lot of stuff in there that's designed for businesses. Like, it's like accounts receivable. You don't need invoice people and stuff and track that. So that's, a function you don't really use at all. Even accounts payable, but you just pay the coming and stuff. So.
And as a village, the stuff we use as a village is so much more complex because it's so much more broad brush. It's personnel, it's got everything, all these other packages, really expensive. Start getting everything, because they like to wrap everything into another base.
What is it, out of curiosity?
I've got to go back and look.
But that includes your human resources system, purchasing system. And the rest.
Yeah, and we just moved to a brand new.
It's more than just.
ERP, but a lot of them are going to that as their model. Doing everything under one umbrella on the cloud, and it's designed for $30 million to $500 million a year revenues, not townships, and that's a big challenge.
Do water bills, we do all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And same, which we don't do any of that stuff.
So it's finding the right system for our size when we're small.
Which is a, like I said, it's sort of a, an underserved little niche here. I think you guys are sort of.
In between.
Yeah, exactly, because the system you're probably using costs probably a couple $100,000, but at least, right? Easy, I think. And then obviously you're not going to move on, that's overkill for you.
Right.
But, it's simple, but and if you design procedures, we've worked through it. As, long as it is, it's just not, it's, you just gotta make it work. It's not perfectly designed.
We just have 3 audits now, we have a day.
Well, we do offsite work too. There's some people that don't even show up to our office. So, different system now.
This is much appreciated, this
Thank you.
insight
Yeah,
with
thank
the
you.
accounting and our software and our audit and where we're at positioning. It's very helpful.
Yeah,
So
and yeah, I'll follow up with you on these names of what some other people are doing, how they can sure, it's neighboring townships and different counties. So I'm sure they'll give you any information you want, and I'll also follow up with you. Tomorrow, if you're ever around, follow up and we'll make some edits to this, to the wording of paragraph. The report.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for all of your help. Scott.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the update on grants and where we are at with that. We're very grateful to be working with the Edward Elmhurst as a grant awardee. We'll be receiving quarterly payments of $62,500 to total $250,000 starting this month. You may be asking what for? And to do two things that we've been discussing for a year. We must get a refrigerated dock level truck for food rescue to make it more efficient to both get in and out of dock level tight places like Amazon, for example. And then we must also expand our food pantry capacity to better serve more people in the community. And so that's the two reasons that they have given us this grant to the Friends of Lisle. Where are we with the ARPA funding? We're very grateful and we're approved by the DuPage County Board for 36,127 for past receipts for COVID-19 related costs. For the second ARPA grant, we are in an appeal process with Lisle Township. And I'm gonna show a email chain that we're having. Okay, so Mary Wells is with the county finance. And just to show you. So we're in the appeals process for the main grant that we've been trying to work for our the community center. And so here's the email conversation that we've been having. So we were approved for this the reimbursement of 36,000. And then it says that for the $1 million grant that we were looking for, we needed more financial information. So we sent them our financial information from Mr. Bilgrain. And then in our original, then this is from the DuPage County to us relating to the ARPA expenses. And they wanted to make sure that we have enough money is what it really boils down to. Because they have to spend it by November 30th in 2024. That's what the federal government requires them, that everything has to be spent by that date. So they wanted to make sure that we have the ability to do what we're trying to do for this grant. So we're going to be in the next few weeks calling a special meeting discussing our tentative budget change. And that's because the county is asking us to do this, as well as we've been mentioning earlier, that there is an issue with having 2.5 times as much money in a year than we get to the point where we were for several years having those lawsuits. And so we have to at some point have a plan for that. And so that's where we are with our.
Is there an opportunity, because I don't know, is there an opportunity to do both, to create this fund, but also to mitigate some of the risk with some type of what the word is, but yeah. So if there's that much, I'm just wondering if there's enough to do both. I was just curious.
So what we're starting off with is we're gonna have these discussions for the next few weeks as to what exactly we're looking to move and for what reason. We had been previously talking about the general assistance, increasing the amount of rental assistance, because we realized that the need was more than what we had anticipated. We were, because we're looking at, for example, understanding the need for strategic planning for the long term. The strategic planning that we're doing with the Northern Illinois costs as estimated at 27,000. So we'll be increasing our administrative costs by that much. So there's a variety of pieces that we've been talking about for a few months that we need to make sure that the budget reflects where we're at with all of those changes mid-year. As we knew we were going to discuss when we pass the budget that we would need. There's some fine tuning.
Mhm.
Okay, so
This is where the special meeting comes in for the budget.
for the budget,
Okay.
for the tentative budget, and it's related to the grants. And it's also related to the fact that we have quite a cash reserve that we need to make plans for. And a capital fund is one of the popular ways to make a plan for that money. Okay, then the resolution is because of the timing and whatnot of the discussions, we're tabling this and we'll discuss the tentative budget change at the special meeting. So there's no resolution that we're working with there. So
Do you
this,
know when you're gonna be starting?
we're, the attorneys and I are making sure that we have a variety of different pieces of information incorporated, including the grant language. So we expect that in the next week, will be given notice as to what the timing is. We want your participation, so we'll definitely be given a lot of notice. Okay, then we'll go on to the approval of the August 10th minutes. And I'm going to share my screen.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 10 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Rose and trustee Page. Clerk Polowitz, would you like to call a roll call?
Sure. Trustee Geist? Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Page? Trustee Rose?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes.
Okay.
They're approved. Then we'll go on to the update on trash and recycling from Lake Shore. And they've been doing a really good job. We had a lot more yard waste than other times because people were doing things in the yard. It happens in summertime. And so we're always looking to increase our recycling. But it was definitely a time of doing one's lawn as you're helping. Okay. Any questions on the trash and recycling? Okay, then update on PACE, Ride Page and RTA. This is the worst customer feedback time I have seen since I've been a supervisor. And Mary Jo Mullen is making the motion of a roller coaster. And we're definitely on the bottom side of that roller coaster these days. It's currently taking too long to get signed up or questions answered, and it's a serious problem, especially for the disabled and vulnerable in our community. I'm constantly trying to reach out to figure out how come the person who's applied 6 weeks ago, it hasn't been signed up yet. And so it feels like we've been doing this since I began. I'm pretty sure we have, and probably I'm sure Supervisor Mullen has been in this experience, and it's a common experience. One of that, I think the other townships that have their own programs can help ameliorate, whether it's Winfield Township or York Township that has their taxis. We're just really lacking that as an option. Any questions about that issue?
What's the plan, I guess?
The problem is the basic problem is there's a monopoly, and we are a suburban area, and basically public transportation tends to focus on here to Chicago and back. And so if you're not going to Chicago, we haven't yet really developed more other handy,
Like routes and things like that? Is it a routing problem?
it's a
or-
routing, a lack of resources of
Okay.
drivers. It seems like they're constantly short, and people have more needs than we have the ability to fill them. It's that basic issue of needs versus resources to meet it. And it seems that there's a need for better and more options, whether it's, because I don't think the Uber system that we've started with as well has satisfied that need. Not everybody can have a cell phone or a computer to deal with that type of a pickup situation.
How many users would you say we're looking at a month?
That varies, and we don't get our reports anywhere near the month that we receive them. And we always get amended reports. So I would say we have at least 100 users that are regular users, and there's 3 different programs here. And so there's some that are very focused on the RTA, that are, you know, for senior citizens and for the disabled community. There's some that are working for or working disabled. So there's different programs for those different needs, and all of them are struggling.
Are there any other townships, maybe not in DuPage County, that have a ride, like a system like this that is working?
Okay, I'm a big fan of Hanover Township. Anytime a plug that I can ever do for Hanover Township, I'm always game for. So one of the things that they have is they have a fabulous transportation program with a whole lot of buses. And they have like a ticket to ride taxi voucher program. There's another program that I've seen, trustee Rose mentioning, there's a metro, there's a program in Milwaukee that's being explored as to how they can get more buses doing more different routes. So there's a lot of options that I think we could try if we, and when we hire somebody that is their job is helping us explore these options.
It's funny that you have Hanover up and ready.
I was ready to go with Hanover Township. So I mean, of course, we're not trying to rebuild the wheel.
No.
And this is a common suburban problem. And a lot of the townships are trying to figure out ways to address these needs. So we're trying to learn from their options. And I promise you, the supervisors meet and one of the common problems is Ride DuPage. We've had a meeting with the county, trying to figure out ways that we can figure out better billing, better anything. So we're trying to figure out other options.
And just for clarification, going over the audit, this is a flat rate that we are being charged for.
Oh, no, it's very complicated. It's
Yeah, it
super.
was large, it seemed large.
Okay, so there's to figure out the rate. We are in a group with the Naperville, under the Naperville municipality. They determine our rate. And then, so they subsidize it. We get a heavily subsidized bill partially from the city of Naperville and then partially from Pace itself. The county, I think, has some subsidization. So it's a highly subsidized program. It just doesn't work well.
But we're still paying them over $8,000, almost $9,000, right? Even at subsidized.
That's
And-
not always 1 month.
Yes, it's never 1 month. It's never 1 month.
They bill you in weeks.
They bill you in 2 or 3 months. It's,
Wait a minute, it's not working and the church?
thank
Sorry,
you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Jumping in, but I just want to make sure that was.
Thank you. Yes, because it's easy to look at that bill, and frankly, we get it randomly every few months. And it's very hard when you get a bill not attached to what you're paying for. So you get an amount and then you don't have like a normal bill, will have what you paid for that receipt. But that's not how it works with them. It would be nice if we could have a better system. So that's why, among other things, we're looking for that as one of our options to hire, because this is not getting better on that front.
So for those that get stranded or, somebody doesn't come, I mean, do they call us?
Yes,
Okay. And
they
then what
call us a lot.
happens?
And so we have a stranded line that our receptionists know about, and we'll give people their number. I'm like 2 or 3 times a day reaching out to somebody personally. Bill is doing that a lot. Ruby is doing that a lot. So we have 3 people, and Bernadette is learning how to do that as well.
So then what happens? Does somebody go pick them up or do you send them a taxi or what happens?
So part of this is the laws relating to all of this.
Right.
To transporting somebody, we don't have the, none of our people have gone through that type of a training yet.
So, but what happens to them? Just-
So we call the stranded line and we try to run this up the post as
Oh,
far as
okay.
we can and as fast as we can, and we complain. And we try to, reach their managers, and it's a broken system.
Well, doctor's offices have hours past your hours, so what do they do if they're at a doctor's office past that time?
It's a problem. And so when they first sign up, we give them that number and we give them a packet of things that they can do. And if they were stranded or if they need help, it's not a perfect system by any means. Any other questions? Okay, it's definitely a system that we're really trying to work on. Okay, then we have DoorDash, which I know a number of the other townships have been talking about because of their food pantry access. It's a really awesome program for free. We don't have any costs. We don't have any liability, which is really a great place to expand our services then. And what it does is they want to have the ability to have a partnership with a variety of different food pantries. So they've been looking for food pantries that they can pair with throughout the country. So that they can say, okay, so much of our services, go to nonprofit food pantries. So, they're good company. Order with DoorDash. And so what they'll do is we promise that we will create a number of rides or a number of bags that will be then distributed to our clients. And so what they want us to do is help either convert some of our clients that normally come on a regular basis, or we can really expand our need to reaching the people that can't come, whether it's because they don't have transportation, as we're saying it's an issue, or whether they're disabled in some way. We'll be able to then have their groceries delivered to them. And so this will help us expand the ability to reach people in our township from the food pantry perspective. Here are the requirements. Is that they'll deliver groceries, including perishables, prepared meals. So if we do get to Meals on Wheels, they would deliver some of those household items, as long as it's not too heavy. What they do require is it's within 10 miles of the radius. It's great because we have a 6-mile radius township. So it can go anywhere in our township. They do want us to get up to 200 bags per month. That doesn't mean 200 trips. That means, like, a lot of times, most of our average shoppers have 2 or 3 bags. So that means about 160 trips on the average a month. And understanding where we are with our food numbers, I don't think we'll have a problem getting there. Any questions about DoorDash?
So how does it work? The client would contact the township pantry and then they would arrange for the DoorDash to pick up the groceries and deliver to them? Like, how does it?
So it's all going to be on a website. And we're working with DoorDash to implement this in a simple way. And so it's going to be it's going to be literally like ordering DoorDash, only there's going to be a segment on their website where you can then order food instead. So we're still working out the details. We have a meeting in a few weeks with in a week with their coordinator of the governmental and nonprofit sector. So it's a new thing that we're.
Yeah, no, I was just curious how it worked. Well, only because we're going back to the potential of someone not having the resources to go online. So they don't have the potential to go out. The people who don't have the potential to go online to use Uber, will they have the potential to go online and use DoorDash? So I was just curious, like, how does it work? How do we know if they need it? Like, will they call you and schedule it? I mean, so I was just curious.
So we're going to have a method that you're not going to be only allowed to go through the online portal, because there are some people that don't have website access, so we will have an option where you can call up and order just like a phone call.
Perfect.
We're just figuring out the process,
Mhm.
and we're working with them to figure that out.
I think it's great. And it's something that I brought up a long time ago. What do people do who don't have the means to come here and pick up groceries? This is
And
great.
trustee McGovern?
Is it a contract, an annual contract? I know it is like a pro bono deal, but
So, what it is in the full agreement is here. And what it is, I'm pretty sure it was an annual contract that we have to sign up, but again, it's flat fee is 0. And so I couldn't see any reason in here to not do it. Any other questions?
It's brand new, so nobody's done it before yet.
There's some townships that have signed up with it. So it's in the last few months is what it came out with. And so I know that it's been a popular thing for our supervisors to discuss.
Do they like it so far?
I've heard only good things.
Okay.
So that was
Don't
my,
have any liability or for driving the DoorDash or something you told us.
so that's not our liability at all. Their liability is they pay for their drivers, and we also can choose drivers that we wish to work with. So say we develop a relationship with, and we feel like a certain driver is really good with what they do. We also they have all sorts of surveys to figure out, how they're progressing and what have you not. But we don't have any liability on that front. They're not,
It's a vulnerable population, right? So it's gonna be really important that the people who are selected are.
and so Charlie has the ability to say, hey, this is the person that shows up at the time that we would like, and this is where we are with them.
So they can potentially have their own route that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So-
And the idea is that DoorDash wants to make this, they feel like, well, they do pay their drivers. If they require us to have 10 bags for them to deliver. So it becomes something that the Dashers, their drivers like to do, because they get
Sure.
a sure thing, and it's a full car. So it ends up being a benefit for everyone. Okay, update on the food pantry, and I was working on better reporting on this, and it's still a work in progress. Number of individuals served has been going up. We're at 2,697 individuals served, with 962 houses served, 296 children under the age of 18. So we're growing. Again, it was about 1,100 when we first started. Any questions? Okay. When it comes to the appointment of the attorney, we wanted to take this time to make sure that we have as many applications, RFPs for the appointment that we're looking for. I spoke with all the trustees, and trustee McGovern had someone that she recommended, and we had a good conversation. So we're looking for somebody that has focus of nonprofit work, so that as we've been learning in the Metropolitan Township Associations, they had a whole webinar on how to make a foundation that could then be adroit in, just like, for example, the municipality of Downers Grove has, and the municipality of Woodridge has, that could be adroit when there is a natural disaster like the tornado that we had that came through, and we didn't really have the ability to, at the time, both generate charitable funds and distribute funds for that type of a disaster. So if we created a foundation very similar to what it's very common right now for the other townships to be doing, is to transform what their original 501c3, which was created for food pantries, to transform it to other options and have it be more adroit and able to fund both natural disasters or what they'll call is angel need issues. Any questions on that? So we're looking for local attorneys with nonprofit experience to help us create that. Okay, then we have the update on the NIU strategic planning process. And the piece that I want to go through and take the time to make sure that we all have on our calendars and walk through this. So the first date is October 6th at 3 to 4:30 via Zoom. And we're looking for, and we'll be inviting civic institutions, human resource organizations, intergovernmental group. So there's a Village of Lisle intergovernmental group. I'll make sure to reach out to everyone there. They're extremely helpful and extremely good at communicating. There's a variety of different human resource organizations that I think we belong to locally that would be helpful. And so that's meant to be the stakeholder focus group. This is the one that I needed to make sure that we had defined times for everybody. So if we could define some times, just to make sure we have this on the record. So it's going to take about a half an hour with 15 minutes in between. And I know Autumn, you wanted a later time. Trustee guys? Okay, so do we want to say you're at like 6:15?
Yeah, I think did you already fill everybody else in?
I'm just trying to make sure that
Well, I want to be, flexible with everyone too. I don't know.
I said, all of you all who work outside of the home, you pick your times that work best for you, and I'm super flexible. I can fill in wherever.
So Trustee McGovern, I know you have a full schedule.
After 3:30.
Okay, so would 5:45 or 5:30 work for you?
This is Zoom.
Yeah,
The house gets pretty loud.
sorry.
Would a 4 o'clock work?
4 o'clock is good. And then I know Debbie Polowitz has a busy schedule often as well.
Do you want to just put me down as 1 o'clock?
Got it? And Trustee Rose, I know is often,
I'm not working on that Monday, so after Debbie is fine.
okay. So we'll do 1:45 for Trustee Rose. Okay, and then Highway Commissioner Young.
I have no idea. This is the first time I've seen it.
Okay,
So I don't know about the 24th.
okay, then we'll get back to you. We have a few weeks. And then then Assessor Trowbridge.
I'll be honest, I was not aware of this.
Okay,
I'll be back to you.
okay, you got it. We've gone through this, I know, a few times, and I know it's gone under a few different versions, so I just wanted to make sure we hammered in some times. So, and then Trustee Page, would 2 o'clock work for you? Okay. So there's quite a few times in between that are available on the 24th. And that can be by Zoom or by phone, so. There's.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you could make sure that we're on the email list, because we have not, like I said yesterday, we have not gotten any emails on this. So if you could just make sure we're all on it, okay?
Sure, I'll also make sure that the NIU consultants will also make sure that they send you all this stuff too. So I assume some of that was being done, and I'll make sure that is being done. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Then the November 9th is going to be me doing a Zoom. So then January, we're moving forward to next year in January. We're still determining the location, but January 24th and 25th for 2 weeknight half nights. And so we're wanting to make sure everybody has this on their schedules for next year.
Are you gonna send that back to me?
It's in the, on the website, but yes, I'll make sure that it's sent to you all.
It's in the packet.
It's in the packet.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah,
I look at this and it's in the packet.
yes, it's been in the packet. Okay, so those are the dates that we want to make sure that we have on our calendars and that we make sure that are announced and everything. So again, January 24th and 25th for the township board. And then each of the individual trustees and board members on the 24th at various times, 1 to 7. And then the stakeholder group. The other piece that's being done is we're working on the surveys. So in the next 2 weeks, Mindy and I have been trying to hammer out the surveys. You'll get the rough drafts in the next 2 weeks. We're trying to get those out in the next month so that we can, by January, have all the survey data from the community. There's 2 different types of surveys that we're doing. To be clear, we're doing a survey of the users of our services. So the people that use our food pantry and that use our, come in and have any kind of assistance. And then we're also doing the survey of the community members to make sure that that they know about our services and understanding their needs. Any questions on the NIU township, on the NIU governmental studies survey? Okay. Then we'll move on towards the general assistance. And so Laura had 30 general assistance cases. She distributed $24,708. The majority of that went towards rent, as we knew has been a growing issue. Then there were 25 emergency assistance cases and 5 general assistance cases. 5 is kind of a lot for general assistance. There's special requirements as to what determines which. And then when we look at our amounts, it does look like there's just been a higher need in the summer months. We did have LIHEAP always ends in the summer months, and that's the energy assistance program. So it started on September 1, and we had a lot of people that had that need. So we've been scheduling, Laura's been scheduling appointments, and we're working on having multiple of our staff that are trained in order to help the LIHEAP program. Any questions?
The rent assistance, has that been increased recently? Or you're going to increase it? I'm not sure which I heard.
It was increased in April at the budget time
From, do you know?
from 750 to 1,500.
And you're gonna increase it again?
No, we
No?
wanted to,
I
no,
thought somebody said they were.
No.
It's gonna just be more budgeted.
no, there's more budgeted towards that to account for the increase.
Okay,
So that was,
I was just confused.
right. What we've determined is Laura and I, the director of general assistance, in a best practice mode, we felt like every year at the budget time, we needed to go over the needs of the people in our community, and we realized that 750 is not enough to cover 1 month's rent.
Well, certainly there's been inflation that's going on the last period of time. I don't think any of your amounts for assistance are.
Well, we've, like I said, doubled the rental assistance, which is a big increase. And we're wanting to make sure that we, as we,
Doubled the previous 4 years also, I mean.
But
Yeah, what was it before 750? It was 400 total for all assistants.
so Trish, if anybody couldn't hear that, it was 400 total for all assistants when Supervisor Mullen started. So it's been going up. It's a process, and it's figuring out, what the need is and meeting that need and budgeting it, and it's a process. So one of the things that that I did and we will continue to do is meeting with the director of general assistance and making sure that we are understanding the needs and we're meeting them. So that's where we're at with general assistance. Any questions on that?
That's general assistance, which is for rent. What about emergency?
So they're all from the General Assistance Fund.
Oh.
And the issue is there's different types of, basically, emergency assistance is the most common.
Yeah.
There's certain reasons why you would get general assistance, and it's very specific. A lot of times it's when you're in between getting Social Security as a option, is one of the most common times for getting general assistance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then, moving on to the update on township communications. So, many of you have seen this lovely, newsletter that's come to your homes. And so we sent it around to every, home in the township. Whether they're, so then we've been going through this for a few weeks now, and we were going through figuring out where the printing bids were the best, from an efficiency perspective. So I'll make sure that I show you our bids. And so we went around to the local, places like Allegra and Alpha Graphics. And, we found that, Forest Printing had the most cost-effective bid. Trying to make this. So there, 1 second. It was 14,000. It's not wanting to just make that a little bit more clear.
And how many households did you send it to?
Everyone in the township, so that was,
I think it's on the actual bill.
yeah.
You can see it.
Someone sent me a message. I'm trying to find it to share it. She asked me to share it.
30.
It was 38,000. It's this, 38,950. For $14,000, which was a pretty good, rate.
It's a nice looking newsletter too.
And it's a nice looking newsletter.
Paper is nice, the printing is nice.
It is.
Can I share this compliment? I just received today's mail, and I must tell you that this Lisle Township newsletter is probably one of the most informative pieces I've seen in all my 25 years of living here. Awesome that you guys have put this together. I'd always wondered what the township did and where the township boundaries were. Please share this at your next township.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Thank
good
you,
to hear.
Trustee Geist. And so we're looking to expand our communications, with regards to our, Trustee Geist had a really great idea that the new version of the Yellow Brick Road, which is our, youth and family services, piece is being printed, for $2,000, in a small version. So that right now, the one that we had was at our printer with our office printer, which is 8.5 by 11, which is nice and inexpensive. But sometimes, like with, people that are in crisis, they need to have something small that they can have, put, that can be given away and given at that way. The other piece that we've been,
Can we go back to the Yellow Book Road for a
sorry,
second?
yes,
Jean had a really good idea about coordinating with libraries
Mhm.
and having something there. I think there's somebody at Downers Grove that they're having, what do they call it?
Well, they have a social worker internship.
Yeah, so.
And so when I was talking to my friend a couple weeks ago, they were just about to get started again. So I gave her a copy of the Yellow Brick Road. And Trustee Rose and I are supposed to try to get together with her soon, and she'll put us together with these people in the library. And
Right, but we could do that for the other libraries
Yep.
too, so that,
that's a really great idea,
Yeah.
because those librarians are so helpful.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe put it in a binder that's easy for them to kind of go through or whatever, so.
Awesome. That sounds like a really great idea. And then, as you can all see, that we've been, working on our website, the joy that keeps giving, certain way. But we've, changed our careers site, or the careers page, to make sure that people could, send applications to this website, or to this email. And then all of the positions that we're hiring for are right here. So you can just download these, they pop it down and download. we are, anybody that has any other, we're trying to make sure that the calendar populates on the front page. And that's one of the things that we're still working on, because it seems that it's stuck. We're getting our expert service in an hourly rate. So if anybody has any things that we want to do better on this, let me know, because we can, if I don't know how to do it, then I'll figure out how to get it done. So I know that the assessor's office and the highway district have been getting, and our office have been getting quite a lot of input from the website, and we've never gotten so much input and emails that we're working on. So that's our communications. And then reports from elected officials. We'll start with Highway Commissioner Young.
I really don't have anything, other than we got a sign for a building, so I can tell you.
Thank you, Highway Commissioner Young. Assessor Trowbridge.
No report, thank you.
Thank you, Assessor Trowbridge. Trustee guys.
No, but I'm really excited about the Yellow Brick Road being downsized, because you know, that need arose because of the Cross Her Heart Body Bag project that I'm working on with the Yellow Grass for Sharing Connections. So super grateful for that. Thank you, thank you. And I have a question. Let's get asked a question at this time.
Depending on nature, sure.
Oh, well, because Kim White didn't mention about the event next week, and that gala, Dancing with the Stars, is a big fundraiser for the Career Networking Center, which we benefit from. So I just wanted to bring that up, and then I wanted to find out, did you have that designated who's going representing the township?
Actually, that's one of the things that I needed to go through in my report, but
Okay.
who would like to go? It's on the 21st. I can't, I have obligations.
I love it. I think it's a great event. So
Would you like to go? Just there, we have 4 tickets.
I think it's a great event too.
What's the
Maybe get back to
date?
It's on the 21st at, I think it was like 6:30 or 7,
October,
September.
September? That's a Wednesday.
I mean, we benefit from it. So then that was going to be my next question. Should we get like a monthly report of our township constituents who are benefiting from the Career Networking Center?
So that's one of the things that we're working out, are the details of how we're going to be going forward with this partnership. And what we do expect is that we'll get a monthly report.
Okay, I just was
like-
curious, so we could see how we were.
We're going to get a monthly bill and a monthly report going forward, because that way it's going to be easier to know how things are changing and what the
I think that's good.
partnership is going.
Thank
So,
you.
yes.
That was it. That was a question.
But does anybody want to go to that? That was something that okay, trustee. McGovern, and then would you, trustee guys? Okay, there's 2 tickets. Anyone else?
What are you looking at me?
Sorry,
for?
just
It's
kidding,
social.
just kidding, just kidding. And then would you all like to
Is this a
bring?
dress up thing?
It is.
Yes.
Okay, like how dressy?
It's definitely dancing, but it's definitely
Do
dressed.
you need to dance?
I
No,
would
no, you're
assume,
watching the Dancing
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Stars performers.
Oh, okay. So let me get back to you because it's a school night.
and if you, it looks like we may have some extras, so if you want to bring a significant others, it looks like we may have that option, because,
Okay, just let us know.
okay, you will
How's-
definitely,
Yeah, just let us know soon.
you're definitely the 2 people that are, that we have as tickets, so thank you. Trustee McGovern.
This coming Tuesday, the 20th is our second tutoring with the township of the academic year. It's from 5 to 6 p.m. at Lisle Park District. Door 5 is the correct entrance to enter. And on our website, on the newsletter, on our Facebook post, there's a QR code to RSVP. Phone number 2. Please RSVP to let us know your needs. And we will have either group tutors, or our goal is one-to-one tutoring for that tutoring session. And it's the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month.
Is that on the calendar?
Yeah, it will be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, trustee McGovern. And then trustee Page.
The only thing I have to report is the massive haul from the garden this month, from last meeting to now. They brought in 277 pounds of fresh produce. Right,
That's
two
awesome.
hundred and 77 pounds, like that is just, that's a big deal. They're having a bumper year this year, considering how slow of a start they have. They're doing amazing, so.
Thank you, trustee Page, and thank you, Paula Deegan Garcia, who's been managing this for, many, many years.
Yeah.
And the
Thank
whole
you,
team,
green thumbs.
yes, there's a whole team of, people that are really helping
Totally.
out with the garden and the needs. Thank you. And then trustee Rose.
I think you guys, we went over all the stuff I was gonna talk about, so no report for me.
Okay. Then, from my side, we're focused on making, sure we're preparing for our impending changes. We're creating onboarding practices, preparing the technology and training to allow for smooth transitions. Many employees are being cross-trained to ensure continuity of services and improvements for the community. We're looking to better improve our ability to manage our accounting with programs that are easy to understand for the average public that are not CPAs. I'm looking forward to interviews starting in the next few weeks. I need to check with members of the board who can attend the Metropolitan and Township Association. So this is again, trying to figure out where everybody is on this. This is the 24th of September. I've put this in a few emails, 8:30 to 1:30, and this is at the amazing Hanover Township. And they are literally just, if you want to look at a township and how things can go, it's a township that's close to us. It's only, what, 20 miles away. It's relatively close to us in population. It's relatively close to us in a lot of different metrics. So it's on September 24th. We need to order by Friday. So who would like to go?
What is-
8:30 to 1:30.
What's the date?
Yeah,
September 24th, it's Saturday.
I can go on that too.
So trustee Rose, trustee Page.
I put in a request. I need to double check and might need to amend. I'll make sure I do that before Friday.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Would Highway Commissioner Young or Assessor Trowbridge like to go?
Thank you.
Okay. I'm super excited to go. So,
Did you ask Clerk Polowitz if she wanted to go?
sorry, Clerk Polowitz, would you like to go?
I cannot attend on the 24th, sorry.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
there a reason they have to do it on a Saturday?
Don't know, but I can see what will be videoed, because they video quite a lot of their presentations, so
Okay, thank you.
we can see if there's anything videoed. Okay, then, and it's been a jam-packed, month full of service for Lisle Township, so that's the supervisor's report.
Could I just say something for my report?
Sure.
Okay, great. I just wanted to comment on, regarding the financials. We have quite a bit, as you said, in the unrestricted funds, but I just want to make sure that we're not looking at those funds as a wish list fund. I mean, we should only be collecting tax dollars that we truly need. So if we don't need it, one of the options to consider is to transfer that money out to the town fund. And there's always the option of abating money back to our residents. It's not that, we absolutely have to do something with that money because we have it. So let's create something, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to give that one other option of the excess funds in the financials. Thanks.
Thank you. And so we'll be going through a whole lot in detail in the next few weeks. Then we can go to the audit of expenditures.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the audit of expenditures for the month.
Thank you, trustee Geist.
Second,
Thank you, trustee
I thought we were
McGovern.
just moving to go to the audit.
Yeah, I mean,
So we have to make a roll call.
yeah, so we need to make a motion.
Move to go to.
I make a motion to move to go to audit.
Can I have a second?
We're amending our, you're gonna amend your motion, so
I'm amending my motion to audit.
thank you, trustee Geist. And then trustee McGovern is seconding. Thank you, trustee McGovern. Any discussion? Okay, then clerk Polowitz,
Trustee Geist,
Yes.
trustee McGovern, trustee Page,
Yes.
trustee Rose, supervisor Hewitt.
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve the audit of expenditures.
Second?
thank you, trustee McGovern and trustee Geist. Any discussion? Okay, then clerk Polowitz,
Trustee Geist.
Yes.
Trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Rose,
Yes.
supervisor Hewitt.
yes. Is there a, so there's, there's two things left on the agenda. There's the adjournment and the executive session. We didn't have the original intent for the executive session is, was originally to go over previous minutes, or previous closed session meetings. We didn't have what we were looking for yet, so we weren't doing that. But is there a vote to go to executive session to discuss other issues?
I make a vote to go to executive session. I think we should. Specific from there to the
Say that one more time.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, can't hear the discuss, I can't hear that.
There's specific
There are,
sections. when we
Okay.
talk about it.
yes,
You have to put that in.
yes, I'm not making a motion.
Okay.
I'm
I
making
retract
sure.
my motion, and what's the correct language?
Could I ask if it needed to be on the agenda for the reason why you go into executive session? Or does it just to be the motion?
It just has to be the motion. And I'm making sure that our attorney is getting back on the line, who is moved off. But if there isn't a second, then there isn't an executive session. Does anybody want a second? And there also has to be a very explicit motion as to why. And so I'm not sure that there is a second that is going to happen, but let me make sure that we have our attorney available. I'm gonna go get the TOI book real quick.
Thank you. It's usually answers. I'll bring it from now on. I
We
want
should
to
have one in here all the time.
I know, I always count on Lisa to have her, she's really good about having hers.
I don't even have a new one.
Huh?
I don't have a new one. My attorney had it.
Okay. Okay, thank you. He's having connection issues. Thank you. Yes,
Hello, sorry about that. I was having trouble getting on.
thank you, Attorney Mullen. We're wanting to, trustee Geis is wanting to make sure she has the correct wording to propose the executive session.
Sure. So, I mean, all you have to do is you make a motion to enter executive session to discuss confidential personnel issues.
Make a motion to go to executive session to discuss confidential personnel issues.
Is there a second? Thank you. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn? Thank you, trustee Pate.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Rose. Any discussion? We're adjourned. We'll see you all next month.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.